Hello and welcome to another edition of the Big O Show with Orestes Destrade. What's up, brother?
I'm good, man. Good. And listen, spring is in the air. Spring is in the air.
It is indeed.
Our USA team, well, winter's in the air too because they were Winter Olympics and they won. So
let's go. Let's go, USA.
I know you spent a lot of time on that with Timmy Hamon.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. That was quite the double win when you got the ladies.
Both in overtime, both over
Canada. Unbelievable.
You got World Baseball.
Got World Baseball coming up.
It's better than sports when you represent the country. It transforms every
Wear that USA or whatever.
Have you worn a Team USA?
No, I can't say that I have, man. No.
Or represented Cuba?
No, I would not do that.
Unless they become free.
Yes, and I'll coach them if they want me. They'll have me, but no.
Senior World Baseball?
There you go.
I think you're done, right? After the quad.
Dude, after the quad, I am bench coach extraordinaire.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah. So we got lots of breaking news today.
Razor,
all kinds of stuff going on.
Got some guys that are smacking the ball around. Got a couple of exciting pitchers that are throwing the ball around really well. Great to see. We'll talk a little bit of Griffin Jacks. Went out in first outing and dominated. Speaking of a guy that's going to be representing the United States in the WBC. Right. So I'm excited for that guy. That guy's going to have a big year. I see Ian Seymour.
It's good to talk about baseball. Actually, people on the field, right?
Yeah, not just not even just the pro level. I mean, college level is out. I just I had the high school game. By the way,
how'd that go?
Real quick, was awesome. Dougie Wechter, got to see Dougie. You got to see a couple of my homies, man, came up to, they got such a great setup over there.
It's amazing.
It's an amazing, what a stadium. I mean, the stadium for the Tampa Jesuit team is, the school is, not only first class for high school, but it's first class for college, put it that way. So it's beautiful. What a nice little, ballpark that is in its own right off of Himes.
How many people were there?
It can't hold that many because it's limited, but it was packed. Let's put it that way. It was full to the hilt. I don't know how many that is. I would probably say there was, 1,000, 1,500, something like that. But a lot of people showed up. Obviously, Caden Wechter, one of the top pitchers in the nation, definitely number one right-hander in all of the state of Florida. He pitched 5 strong innings. Slider is dramatic. His slider is so impressive. And even I talked to Dougie afterwards. Yeah, slider, wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. I'm like, dude, that was a major league wipeout slider. He throws like a nice, comfortable 94, 95, real comfortable 6'3". Got to see him before the game and talk to him for a minute. Obviously, I've known his kids since they were yay high. And so it was really good. The team is yoked. The team is stacked. I mean, they've got several really big-time players, all of them committed to Duke, FSU, Florida.
They got a big FSU pipeline going on.
They have a good FSU pipeline.
I don't know if Cade's going to make it there, but
I don't believe he's making it there, bro. Yeah, he's just
first-round pick.
He's a first-rounder. I mean, first-rounder early. First-rounder early. I mean, he's
that good.
Yeah, he's top 10 pick. He's a top 10 pick. He's legit. I had not seen him other than video. So it was really sweet to see him, as a young man, as opposed to 12, 13. Now I got to see him now as a 17-year-old. Dude, just impressive. They easily won 4-1 off of a valiant Tampa Plant team. But the reality is that, Jesuit is head and shoulders. But, I really like this kid who's going to Florida for Plant by the name of Olivio. He's their catcher. Both catchers. The other kid is a guy by the name of Marshall. For a Jesuit. Holy cow, what a hitter that kid is. He's a left-handed, looks like skinny catcher. Mm-hmm. He hits like Christian Yelich.
Yeah.
I mean, that good. And so love doing the games. Thank you to Doug Politz, who invited me to come out and help him out there and do the games. Got to see, like I said, Dougie. I had to see Kristen, Karsten, their daughter now that's at TC at Tampa Catholic, is a star 16-year-old volleyballer. She's not playing softball anymore. Very disappointed about that because I worked with her when she was a young kid.
Yeah.
And had the best swing I've ever seen for a softball.
Really?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I always said best hitter in the Weckner family.
By far.
And no, but
she just chose volleyball.
Which I
playing
love.
both.
She's tall. She's tall. Both mom and dad
playing
are tall.
both, but they don't let them.
No, it's all good. And also got to see my former producers, of which I'm sure you've run across, JP Peterson and
yeah, I actually saw him yesterday at
no way
said to say hello. Yeah, at the Valspar.
No way.
Yeah.
You guys are distant cousins, I'm sure.
Yes,
some
we are.
Some way, shape,
absolutely.
or form.
Yeah.
Some inbred that was going on there in the Peterson family. I think you're
out in Kearney, Nebraska.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Hey, get her done.
Yeah.
And then Brad Bartle, man, who for many years, even more so than KP, has produced a lot of stuff that I did with the Rays. So love those guys, and great to see.
They've been listening to your show, and they said they miss you.
Yeah, and I miss them, and maybe we can figure something out, and I can cameo a couple of times. But,
I hope so.
We'll see how that works out.
I think that should work out.
That would be nice with the new ownership now, and the new frontier of the new Rays, if we call them that. Now.
Rick is chiming in, I think, on time. He says Orestes should know what 1,500 people looks like in a stadium trop on a Tuesday night.
No, only a sophomore. Rick has got 2 summer jobs and a 3.5 grade point.
He is already chiming in.
He's on. He's in midseason form already.
Yeah.
No, but it felt cozy because it didn't feel cavernous like it does sometimes.
Yeah. But high school baseball is
a lot of fun.
So good here.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh yeah,
good here. And and our college FSU is stock full of Tampa kids.
Yes.
Gary Sheffield's son is
by the
there.
way, Sheff's the youngest.
Home run the other day.
Yeah, the youngest. Man, I hadn't seen him play other than in video. And what a young, good player this kid is, man.
Yeah.
Just fast, dynamic, got great bat speed, we're going to talk about, the likes of Carson Williams and some of these other young hitters for the Rays. And one of the things that I always look for is how you take pitches.
Yeah.
And man, does that kid take a pitch really well.
Yeah.
He knows the zone. He knows himself. And
he had a good teacher.
Yeah. Well, it might be one of the best right-handed hitters that I ever played with.
Absolutely.
So, and that's saying a lot because I played with some pretty good ones.
He waggles the bat just like his daddy.
Not as much. I was looking for it. He sets it up a little bit, but not.
Oh, not as, but it's still there.
I mean, Gary,
it's still there.
In fact, I said it on the show when the young chef was up, and I was, we're in the booth right over home plate, and I go, Doug, I used to stand in the first base dugout on the on-deck batter's circle because Chef hit third, I hit fourth, and he would mess with me because usually you have your system and you're paying attention to the pitcher, but I was always like, I'm trying to get ready stuff, but I would get caught just looking at Chef. Dude, he had that bow-legged approach, but the bat would literally turn and the pitcher would be here and the barrel of the bat would be pointing at the pitcher. And I'm going, he's releasing the ball. There's no, how many times, I had 600 at bats that year. And I go, how many times I would see it and I go, he can't get around.
No way to catch up to that.
And he'd come back around and because he literally would hit it here, then he would come back and then he would come up and get around and he hit a bullet down the third base line. And I'm like, that was just
quickest hands you ever seen?
Quickest hands other than Barry.
And Barry Bonds.
Okay. Yeah. Barry's hands were quicker than his by a shade, not by much. I would put Barry number 1, Chef number 2, Carlos Delgado number 3.
Ooh.
And they were very close to each other. And, in fact, I may have told you this story, but one of the All-Star tours back in 2002, I used to always be invited by NHK to come out to Japan to do commentating or just be involved around the All-Star Tour, because every 2 years until the WBC hit by 2006, they would do every even year, every 2 years, they would have a tour go and play a 7-game series against the best of Japan. And so best only non-foreigners. So it was just the best Japanese guys against, this tour of USA, MLB players. And that one featured all three. So I had NHK, or maybe it might have been Fuji TV, one of their big boys, asked me to reach out to all three to do a pregame deal where they put a net out, they filmed it, and they had a jugs gun, and all three would hit it off a tee to see who had the quickest swing.
Ooh.
So I got all three of them. They got paid nicely to do that little extra bit. So did I, by the way. And and I put all three, and I was sitting there, and Barry, 2008, Barry was 37 or 38 years old.
Yeah.
Hit it, it was a quicker swing. It was like 107 or something like that. And then Chef was second, and Delgado. So it proved my point of having played with Barry, with Chef, against Delgado, that I was right. That
the eye test was correct.
Dude, Barry's swing is like that short, man. So, but Chef was just a uniqueness of being able to get from here to here to here quicker than anybody in the history of the game.
And the intimidation factor of the bat waggle.
In fact, the guy that he reminded me of, which I was was my idol. I had 2 or 3: Tony Perez, Reggie Jackson. I loved Reggie Smith because he was a switch hitter.
Yeah.
The other guy that I loved was Dick Allen. May he rest in peace. Yeah. And Dick Allen didn't waggle. He just literally started with the bat like that.
Okay.
So Dick Allen would be right here. The pitcher would get going. He'd come back and then be this short. Yeah. Those guys are in another level. And man, I got big, strong hands, and I had a quick bat, but they were at another level.
That's be able to do that. It's very helpful in the hitting mechanics when you can wait that long.
When you're impressing,
fire your hands.
When you're impressing someone that is at the level that I was and knew how good I was and how I could do that, but then I'm impressed at the next level. Now you're talking other basketball players talking about Jordan, other quarterbacks talking about Brady, other hockey guys talking about Gretzky. That's the level of separation.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, let's get into first of all, let's thank our sponsors: Texas Roadhouse, Wesley Chapel, one of the great steakhouses in Tampa.
Outstanding.
It's when you're out and you're just on a Tuesday, Wednesday night doing a little shopping and you want a great meal. Anytime's a great time, but Texas, because you can do that, because it's not like like you're going to Burns and you got to get a mortgage payment ready.
Yes, you got to plan, a month in advance for that one.
2 months in advance,
maybe 2.
You just stop right in and you get a steak that's every bit as good and a meal that's every bit as good for a fraction of the cost, and it's just fantastic.
Comfort food at a comfortable price and service. That is also the big thing that Tyler Hamilton, the owner over there at TRWC, pushes and professes for the last 15 years. Oh, by the way, tying into baseball, they actually won their company softball. Won. They blew them out of the water.
Blew them away.
Yeah.
So the team at Texas Roadhouse Westview Chapel is like this 27 Yankees when it comes to playing softball.
They played in a corporate, softball tournament amongst, I guess, the other Texas Roadhouse, killed them.
Who could not hang.
They could not hang, to the point that the other teams were wondering, do they got some Taiwanese little league ringers here that they brought in? But I want to give props to Tyler and his team, his manager Corey, that hit blasts. I think Tyler hit like 3 home runs or 4
home runs,
4 in 12 games. Yeah. Props to Colby, Eva, Taylor, Haley, and Lucas, Austin, and Spencer.
Show the picture.
Yeah, hold on a second. Let me show you the picture of a picture of the winning team.
There they are. There they are.
Team with their gold medal. I guess they're giving medals now.
Not only can they cut steaks, but they can
rake,
hammer. They can rake too.
In fact, I even think I heard that the dog was like a pinch runner and stole like 4 bases. So every aspect,
great squad.
So not only do you get a good meal, you get some good ball players.
Also, the Murphy Auto Group, Genesis of Tampa, always giving something away. They just gave away a brand new diamond ring to a lovely lady, and they're selling cars like mad over there. So if you're looking for a great opportunity to get into a Genesis car, it is Genesis of Tampa, 801 East Bears Avenue, just off of 275. Always giving away something. They give away Mardi Gras T-shirts this month. They're Black History Month. They're giving away portions of every car to the Black History Museum of Tampa. So always doing stuff in the community and selling great cars.
And also just the overall Murphy Auto Group, which obviously encompasses 7 different dealerships, including over there in Haines City, and also several in Augusta, Georgia. In fact, this past weekend, right here at the beautiful Kingmakers, where our studios are, which you can also use, and just go to Kingmakers.com and come on out and check it out, and you can get on there and use our studio, use the
golf simulator,
our sports bar.
Yeah.
But I do want to say that this Saturday we held an event, a charity event benefiting Grable Rescue, which is obviously that incredible group that rescues so many Americans worldwide. So great job by Grable, and want to prop that. And lastly, in fact, talking about all the community and charity that they do, I'll be with them. That being Mike Murphy and his group in Augusta, Georgia. We're for our yearly fundraiser for an HBCU college that we've been tied with, Payne College up in Augusta, Georgia. So we'll be playing a charity game up there and addressing the kids. There'll also be a pregame high school game. So a lot of incredible things. Can't say enough about what the Murphy Auto Group does, not just sell cars, but sell goodness.
I love that. Love that. They're 3 C's, commitment to the community.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk a little baseball here with the Rays. Breaking news today. Not really breaking news, but it happened this morning. Kind of a procedural thing where the 22 acres that the Rays ballpark would sit on in the Hillsborough College plot there was conveyed to the Rays officially from the governor and the state. So that part is checked off. Now it's just the negotiations are going on right now between the team and the city and the county to come up with the funding sources to pay for the ballpark and the surrounding areas. Of course, the community will be on the hook for about $1.15 million.
Right.
And there's a big article in the Times this past weekend that goes through a lot of different funding sources. And all you need to know is really this key quote here from one of the administrators that is dealing with this, and kind of one of the lead guys, Clendenin, who is on the city council and also the Tampa Sports Authority. He says, I feel as though what I've been presented with is going to bring the needed revenue to do the debt services and be able to do what we need to do for infrastructure. But I still need to see it all spelled out on paper. So that's good news.
That's excellent.
That's great news. That's the thing. There's a lot of other numbers in there that you could get lost in, but
sure.
I did some research with one of the TSA folks this week and been doing a lot of research in this level. And there's, one thing we need to keep in mind is, they're using the battery as the template for this whole thing in Atlanta. In 2023, the battery collected $40.3 million in TIF tax, which is the tax that they use to pay off the debt service of the stadium up there.
Correct.
And that's the extra excise tax at the bottom of all the beverage and food checks in the battery. And
specific to the area.
Just specific to that area. And that tax money has to go back into that area.
Right.
And the Cobb County debt service is $16.4 million per year for the stadium, and they're bringing in $40 million a year. That was in 2023, so that's probably up to 50 million.
9 million.
Yeah, so it's a huge revenue. Yeah, it's a huge revenue source, and it basically is a user fee for anybody who's going to go down there and use that area. So if you're not going to Rays games or going to this huge mixed use or living in an apartment or condo there, you won't be paying it.
Yeah, so you're good. Yeah. I just think that's the model. The fact that report that just came out that you just referenced was a positive report when someone is saying, listen, in the early goings, the numbers are adding up, that it is, capable, it's doable. That's an incredible positive thing for someone that's in the lead of defending the taxpayer.
Right.
So that's not coming from the Rays. That's not coming from the owners. It's coming from someone in the know. So I thought that was fantastic. And on the right track. Now, is this going to be simple? No. But
a lot of work to be done.
A lot of work to be done before, the first shovel is dug in. But I don't think, I think it's on pace to hopefully be done soon.
Ken Babby had a comment after today's official handing over of the acreage, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
And they put out a statement. I'll read it for you now. Please get this right. The Tampa Bays are grateful for the approval granted today by Governor Ron DeSantis and the Florida cabinet for the conveyance of state land to the Hillsborough College for the purpose of redeveloping the Dale Mabry campus site for our proposed new ballpark, reinvented campus, and live, work, play, and learn district to open in 2029. The support of Governor DeSantis and the cabinet today underlines our belief in the power of this generational project and the many lasting benefits it will deliver. Our momentum is real and growing thanks to the remarkable spirit of community and statewide partnership that our ownership group has been privileged to experience from the start. This is undoubtedly a big moment for Tampa Bay, and the Rays are fully in the moment to bring this vision to life and serve our region for generations to come. That's from Ken Babby.
That's fantastic. And,
very well said.
And very well said. And you know what I also love? What's the beginning part is live,
work, play, learn.
Yeah.
Learn.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Live, work, play, learn.
Yeah.
And again, because you're, encompassing and sharing and collaborating any way you look at it with the history and the ongoing positivity that is Hillsborough College now, before known as Hillsborough Community College, they're taking that on and they're, professing and saying, we want this to be a sports and education center.
Yeah.
It's not just retail and it's not just walk around and beautiful parks and a beautiful stadium, but we understand that there's an education factor to this thing. And who knows what other algorithms, come out of that. There could be, other buildings that are pertaining to some sort of education. Maybe it's sports, marketing, sports management, sports development.
Yeah, those are already in the works. They're going to be doing internships. The Rays are going to be offering to Hillsborough College.
The learn factor, I think, listen, and the king of this has been the Battery, and deservedly so. 9 million people visited last year. That's not the people that went to the games. That's just people.
Well, they could have also gone to the games.
They also could have come to the
total
game,
number.
Because they had maybe 3.5 last year, 3.2 or something like that. So you're talking triple the amount that went, to the actual baseball games were walking around it. This could possibly trump it. This could possibly be.
It's going to be much bigger
and better and more diverse and
produce more money.
So what you're talking about, again, without belaboring my favorite word of legacy, this is something really dramatic and it needs to be done properly and protect the three entities, which are the owners, the municipalities. So they're on point, and the community.
Yeah.
So and there seems to be the right push so far.
Well, and I think you could see every time that the Rays talk about this, it's not just a baseball park, and it's not.
Exactly.
It is a $10 billion investment in creating an area, a live, work, play, learn area that is going to be beneficial to all of Tampa Bay, not just people. Not just the Rays, not just people that are interested in baseball, concert goers, movie goers, restaurant goers, bar goers, anybody, football fans that are going to use it, I mean, it's going to be a 365, 24/7 available to the public. And so it's not just an investment giving billions to owners. It's an investment that's going to bring back billions in property tax revenue that currently isn't being given to the county and the city because there's nothing there right now. That's giving off any tax revenue. Jobs,
thousands.
I mean,
jobs.
You know how hard it is for kids coming out of college now to find jobs, or to, jobs while you're in college, right there next to your college. So it's not just a baseball stadium, and that's what people have to, kind of grasp. So much more.
Obviously, and it needs to be looked at that, and it is. But once it truly is developed, is the biggest project in the history of Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay, encompassing Waterside, encompassing the newness of over in the Ybor area, encompassing the future, gas plant, which is, I think, will be done and it's going to be fantastic. This is the jewel of this thing.
All right, let's talk a little baseball, shall we? We got games.
We got games,
actual
man. We've
games.
had 3 games. We've had a bunch of other games. We've had some exciting stuff already, throughout the major leagues. Are seeing, going back to my Japan roots, Murakami already had himself a big blast, representing the White Sox. Okamoto hit a home run for the Toronto Blue Jays to dead center, about 410. So those guys are representing Imai for Houston. Has not pitched yet. Might be showing up today or tomorrow or something. But so those guys are off to a good start. Obviously, the Yankees with their big 2 6'7" guys are one very known commodity in Aaron Judge, 3-time MVP, and then the other one in Spencer Jones hit what was that ball is still going that he hit. I think he literally hit it onto Dale Mabry. If you don't know who Spencer Jones is, you will.
Yeah.
Because I think he's going to, I don't know if he's going to make the cut, but he's definitely in the mix of being a future power guy for the Yankees. And then for the Rays, like what I've seen so far, especially on the mound, a couple guys that are so key, I think, this year. Drew Rasmussen also threw yesterday and threw fantastic. He dominated and he looked good and got his work in. Griffin Jacks threw an inning, 3 strikeouts, no problem, looked great. Obviously, a guy that we both like, in Ian Seymour, had a nice outing with a couple of punch outs.
Plant High School's Jake Woodford.
How
about that?
How about that kid? Talk about Tampa Plant High.
Yeah. He got a shot maybe to make.
He might have a shot. I really like, the one thing that we're still waiting on is Edwin Uceta and his, just sore shoulder. Thankfully, the report coming back from the great Coco Eaton over there, the team orthopedic main guy, said that there wasn't any major structural issues or anything that that was serious. So that's good. That's huge, because listen, shoulder injuries for a pitcher are much worse than elbow. Even though elbow put you out for a long time, you come back from Tommy John. You come back from some structural things with the elbow. You rarely come back strong from major shoulder surgery. So that seems to be okay. They're going to baby him a little bit, because that guy's a whip. If you can get to that, we've talked about it before, if you can get to that 7th inning, then you have a combination of Clevenger, Jacks, Uceta on the norm. Not every day, because you got to, but those 3 I think are going to be the guys where you can go lefty, righty, righty, or righty, lefty, righty. They're going to be massive. So you need Uceta healthy. Offensively, already liking what I'm seeing from Carson Williams. Oh, by the way, the young buck Carson Williams is going to get a lot of ups, especially early on. Why? Because Taylor Walls is nicked up a little bit. What is it? Is it
oblique?
Is oblique? Oh, the infamous oblique.
Oblique.
And that can be a little bit, iffy sometimes, how quickly guys come back from that. Hopefully it's not too serious, because he needs to get his ups. But in the meantime, they're handing the ball and the glove and the bat to Carson Williams. The other guy that they're taking slowly, Gavin Lux, the newly acquired second baseman, is not yet to see action yet. But they're not super worried, about either of those guys. But that means that Carson's going to get a lot of ups. So far, what I've seen, he's 1 for 3, had a nice knock, but he has a walk. Ta-da. Listen, want to see walks from that kid early on. Why? Because here's the thing about spring training, JP, that people need to understand. Early on in camp and spring training games, pitchers are amped up. They're healthy, right? They've trained all winter long. But the problem is control, right? Because they just haven't been seeing, hitters up at the plate. They've just been, simulating games and doing this and that, but real game action. So they can be all over the place, right? And then hitters, their timing is not completely there. Right. I don't care how much you're using the sport track and you're using this and that. It's still the game action is the game action. So what happens is that you see in spring training a lot of walks and a lot of strikeouts. And if a young hitter like Carson Williams, who needs to hone in and find plate discipline, is walking a lot, I'm happy.
Yeah.
That's like, the proverbial, hey, little Johnny, a walk's as good as a hit. In this sense, a walk is as good as a hit.
Because it's not a strikeout.
Because it's not a strikeout. It's not just that. It's not even a strikeout. It's not a bad at bat where you're swinging at bad pitches early. You're swinging out of the zone and you're behind. Now you dribble one to short, or you pop up, or you strike out because you're defensive.
Hitting their pitch.
Yeah, you're hitting their pitch. So I'll take the walks. He did end up getting doubled up after he walked there, but that's okay. It's early spring training, and he was trying to be aggressive because remember, this kid is actually a very aggressive base runner.
Yeah.
So
super fast.
So I like what I've seen. Just a small sample, but that was positive. Jacob Melton, wow, he crushed one. What a sweet swing that kid has.
Yeah.
What a sweet swing he has. I mean,
made a diving catch too.
They made a nice diving catch.
Yeah.
So very excited about that kid's all around, dare I say, 5-tool player type potential. He's not there yet, but he has that potential because he definitely has defense, arm, speed, bat.
He's just a younger, undeveloped Josh Lowe.
He's I like to think that he doesn't have as big strikeout home run kind of rate, and then he could put the ball in contact a little more. I don't need him to be trying to hit 30, 40 home runs, like Josh Lowe tried to do and did on several occasions, including last year with 31. So bottom line is that their offense, I think, could be okay. You're going to get guys like Ben Williamson's going to get a lot of opportunities now with guys that are down early, like the aforementioned Lux and Walls. You're going to see Ryan Velarde get a lot of ups. I like that kid a lot. His metrics really play. Right-handed with a little pop, pull side. He really pulls the ball well. You need to have some of these guys that can pull the ball from the right side. A couple other guys that you're going to see out there, probably like the kid Malloy. Is it Mallow or yeah? So he's got a nice right-handed bat, but it's exciting right now because a lot of guys are going to get a lot of ups and a lot of bat behind the plate. Fiducia is a better hitter than Fortes. Fortes is a better catcher than Fiducia. So I think you're going to, they're going to stick with those two guys.
Yin and the yang there.
The yin and yang of, maybe depending on, who's on the mound and how well, Fiducia, who's a little bit of a better hitter, might be against a tougher pitcher. Let's say you would see him start some games. But I think they're going to be comparable and play probably half and half, which rests your catching crew.
Fiducia got 3 straight ABS challenges correct.
Yeah.
So, and then the 4th one he got wrong, and then I guess they stopped challenging at that point. They lost their challenge.
Yeah. Well, you get 2 per game until you go into extra innings where you get 1, per extra inning. So, neat to see that.
Yeah.
Interesting to see that, because you got to practice it now in spring training. You got to get it comfortable with the umpires, comfortable with when you do it, how you do it, how you do it. You tap your hat, but the bottom line is, there's a timing to that. Not unlike you got to look at that particular thing, very similar to the reviewing and very similar to, a head coach in football.
I think Cash said he's going to let the catchers do that.
Yeah,
like give them free rein because they know better than anybody. They know better. It's a strike, and Fiducia even said it. He goes, when you catch a ball and it's a strike, it doesn't take long. And if you feel it, go do it.
Here's the catch with that, though. No pun intended. Is that catchers in the last 5-10 years have been taught so dramatically to frame,
yeah,
right? To kind of steal, to literally almost go after the ball and frame it. So they're not receiving it anymore. They're going and getting it.
Yeah.
So they might get to the point you're going to have some catchers that are going to be asking for that was a strike, and it might end up being a ball because their framing is so good.
Yeah.
That in their mind's eye,
they think they're doing it.
They think they got one. So
and the hitters can do the same thing if a catcher steals one.
Yeah, no, hitters, major league hitters, good to great major league hitters, bad major league hitters where there are a handful, but most hitters that are that literally get 400 or 500 at bats a season in the major leagues are good hitters. Know the strike zone, right? So they know when to do that, and I think it's going to work pretty well. Umpires on the other side, this is all about getting the judgment correct.
Well, they've been known to have some pretty big egos. So I wonder if they're going to hold. They can't though, because
they can't. No, they've been talked to. They've been talked to.
They'll be replaced for good.
They've been talked to, and they said, "Listen, do not
F around."
Yeah, you just take it and you let the T-Mobile screen show up there, and I tell you what, T-Mobile's getting a lot.
They love it.
They had to pay I wonder what that pretty penny was for that one.
We can find out.
We need to find out about that. That has to be in the millions, because that's going to be used quite a lot. It's going to be interesting. And then we're going to see truly at the major league level how fans react to that. Remember, we just in the last 3 to 4 or 5 years, we've had new things that we never thought we would ever have in baseball. The time clock. You can only throw over 3 times, or now you can't throw over anymore. They did away with the shifting. So fans have to also acclimate to that, because it's only been used in the minor league. So at the major league level now, it's going to be very interesting.
All right, Alejandro Noriega says, hey, Orestes, you're right about Melton so far. I've been watching spring training, and that homer looked nice and has good defense. He could be the new Kiermaier defensively and actually has some offensive pop.
Yeah, I think where you see him is a situation where if Fraley struggles, they don't have to be so committed to Fraley, because Fraley notoriously is a thumper against right-handed hitting, notoriously terrible against left-handed hitting to some degree. So was Josh Lowe, and so is Josh Lowe, and so you may see a situation where if this kid starts developing and shows that he could hit lefties and righties. I like Fraley in the outfield. He's got a rocket of he's a true right fielder with an incredible arm. So it's his position to lose, right? So just like but it's a little different than Cedric Mullins, who's going to get a much more of a leash than Jake Fraley. So we haven't talked about Chandler Simpson, that he started. Also, he's one of those guys that they're kind of babying a little bit because of a little bit of a tight hamstring coming into camp.
Yeah, no sense in rushing it.
No, not at all. But I love Jake Melton's swing. It's exciting. It's quick. It's got
if he has a great spring, can he make the team?
I think he can make the team.
Really?
Yeah, I think he can make the team.
It's kind of wide open for the outfield. Then they're not going to
wide open. It's wide open as far as that fourth.
Even though Melton has some options left.
I don't think it's wide open as far as starting. I think that the starting is in place, barring any injury, or something happening with Simpson that's a little more serious than just a little bit of a strain. It's Simpson, Mullins, Fraley, but he could still make this team for a while and see how they use him. And then if you get deeper into the first month or so and they're not using him that much, then you want him to get at bats.
Get at bats, right?
You know what I mean? So, but he can make this team. There's no doubt that he can make this team.
Alejandro also says, since Uceta's injury might not be bad, but to be on the safe side, I would sign a pitcher from free agency. I would love to sign Michael Kopech.
Yeah, Michael Kopech's nice little arm.
Yeah. They'll see how the guys like Jake Woodford work out.
I think exactly.
Spring.
They've got several guys in there that can fit the bill if it needs to be. Let's say if it lingers into the beginning of the season, which it quite candidly could. So because you don't want to mess with some sort of shoulder injury and rush him back. But I think they're okay. Their depth pitching wise is, dare I say, phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I really think Joe Boyle is throwing today. In fact, he's already been throwing. So you can even look up and see how he's doing. But he might already be done. But the bottom line is that I don't see a need right now with that little Uceta scare to be necessary to try to go and get somebody right now.
Yep.
Let's see what we got here.
They're playing the Twins today. It's 1-0 Rays, top of the third.
Boyle, he's done. Through 2 innings, 1 hit, 2 strikeouts. Nice.
Let's
Let's see his pitch count. let's see, Boyle threw, oh, geez, he threw nice. 31, 52 pitches, 31 strikes, 31 pitches, 21 strikes.
Nice.
Outstanding. And Clevenger,
he's on the bump right
he's
now.
on the bump right now, and I'm really high on that lefty. I think he's massively key. So 1-0 Tampa Bay, and yeah, so
there you go.
It looked pretty darn good. Yeah, and in fact, listen, this is a pretty good little lineup right now.
What do we got?
This is an interesting lineup right now, buddy. I'm gonna give you the lineup right now.
All right.
We got Carson Williams leading off. Already scored a run. Oh, by the way, what did he do before he scored that run? Walked. Thank you, Carson.
Wait, is that No, it's Williams' son.
Oh, that's Ben Williamson. My
Ben
bad.
Williams' son.
Yeah,
Williams' son.
Yeah, I saw shortstop and William, and I already got excited because you know how excited I am about Carson. No, Ben Williamson walked and scored. Yandy Diaz walked. So the lineup is Williamson, Diaz, Aranda, Caminero, Mullins, Fraley, Velade, Fiducia, and the kid Malloy in left field. So that's, you're talking about quite a few guys that are going to be your regular season lineup in there, with Diaz, Aranda, Caminero, Mullins. Think about it. That's pretty much your 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I would say that's probably your 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 this year.
Yeah, that's our first real look at that whole lineup today.
Yeah.
So Williamson walked to lead off. Yandy Diaz walked.
Yes.
And there was a challenge on that. Call in the field was confirmed on the challenge from the Twins. Then Aranda flied out to center field. Williamson tags and goes to third. Junior Caminero grounds into a force out.
And Williamson
scored.
Right.
So they couldn't get Yandy in the double play.
Yeah.
All right. There you go.
No, they got Yandy out. It was Caminero they couldn't get.
Right. I mean, Caminero. They did not hit into his first double play.
Hey, because wasn't he a league leader last year? Or he was top?
He almost broke the major league record.
Really?
He was on his way. Yeah.
Well, you know what? It's these little things that I'm looking for in spring training.
Yeah.
Just
maybe he's a little faster down the line. I don't know.
He came in
lighter.
A few pounds lighter, not that many pounds lighter. What he worked on this winter, not that far from us here, up the road. Okay, it's over by, if I'm not mistaken, off Hillsborough Avenue. There's a center, and I forget the name of it, but he worked out with this lady that a lot of guys, especially a lot of Dominican players, Rosarena, Carlos Santana works out there, Vladdy works out there. Goodness, quite a few work out with this lady that is a core specialist, and tightening you up.
Okay.
So he came in way more tight, way more in shape, way more physically fit this year. And one of the reasons he said because he felt he got tired at the end of the season. And he just
it's the most games he's ever played.
It's the most games ever,
obviously. And he also
no, by
Winter
far,
ball and everything else.
So he just came in more fit, and that equates to swifter, more better movement, less
quicker
double
to first base,
less double plays. Also, it helps you with your defense as far as staying, at a 90 to 100% clip throughout the regular season. So one of his goals is that he wants to challenge for a Gold Glove at third. So, you have to be nimble at third if you want to be at the levels of
love the way this kid works, man. Nonstop.
He's out serious, not only working, on the field, between the lines, in the gym. Oh, by the way, we mentioned it last week, in the classroom, because he's working hard on his English. He wants to do more English interviews when he can.
He is the antithesis of Wander Franco.
Oh, Nelly. Yes. And it's an interesting topic. And before we go into Jonathan Aranda, which I want to talk about, when I was coming out here and I was just thinking about, it's funny you say that, because you know, a lot of my thing is big on sports and education, right? Mainly because of my mom. And I just think that today's athlete, today's pro athlete, for that matter, today's big time college athlete, smartness is so key, man. It really is. You know, there's, I want to, you know, because I was thinking about Emmanuel Clase and what a
Dumbass.
debacle that is. And it's
of lack
setting
of
back,
intelligence.
it's setting back the Cleveland Indians dramatically. I don't think you realize what a loss this is for them.
Yeah.
And it hurt them last year. This is a little engine that could, you know, very similar type team.
Well, it's
as
no
the
different
Rays.
than the loss we suffered with Wander's talent.
It is. You're right. Because if you think about it, we haven't made the playoffs the last couple of years.
That's right.
You know, so it affected so much. The ramifications to an organization when a key star player like that goes down, it's felt on the field, but also off the field. So, and I was thinking, like, how could Clase, how could Wander, you know, do such an ignorant thing? And a lot of it is that let's not kid ourselves.
Upbringing.
It's upbringing, right? It's upbringing, and you're just not fortunate enough. So I'm not blaming them completely, because if you're not fortunate enough to have good parents, if you're not
my
fortunate,
wife actually so wonderfully says, you don't get to pick the that you come out of.
Yeah, you do not. You do not. So, and also the environment. You can't pick the environment. So a lot of these guys are in I just came back from Dominican Republic last month and got, you know, was reminded, though I knew it, having played there and know so many, you know, what, you know, you can go into the environment that some of the NFL players or college players come from, that aren't the greatest environment, not the greatest parents, but they're these great athletes, right?
Yeah.
From the moment that they're 12, 13, 14, you're going, oh my God.
But the choices that you make along the way and how you're brought up and the environment of which you're brought up in have everything to do with your success.
Right. And it's a point of two things coming together, because that's what I was thinking about. Number one is opportunity. So if you get that opportunity and you're lucky enough to meet coaches, you invariably have to, if the influence hasn't been from the neighborhood or the parenthood that you have, there's going to be a point, because of your greatness as a young athlete, that you're going to run across teammates or institutions or coaches, or a combination of all of those. And then you have to take it upon yourself to realize,
that's right,
I have a chance to get out of this. I have a chance. And then what's my best chance to do? Educate myself. Listen, not just listen to them between the lines, how to be a great cornerback or how to be a great hitter, but how to be a better person, how not to do this and that.
Making good choices.
And that's where the fault then kind of happens. And that's where a Clase who was making millions of dollars chooses for tens of thousands of dollars to make that type of decision. It's just, it kind of is upsetting and frustrating. Obviously, being a Hispanic, you know, it makes my culture look bad. Well, but it's just humanity.
It's the millions of kids that play baseball and the opportunity that they have in especially coming out of the Dominican. I mean, you have to be talented, but and Wander got to the point where he got paid.
He got paid,
and
he just never learned beyond. Yeah. So the biggest,
it's great to see that Junior is
exactly,
and
so many other, you know, Willie Adames. I can think of some former Rays that are just wonderful human beings that learned, you know, and said, I'm going to fight to learn English. I'm not a real great student, but I'm going to fight to learn to be able to at least put, you know, sentences together. And, you know, the other thing that I think is, you know, it's imperative. It's just you get to that point where you have to make that decision as to which route you're going to go, because the worst combination is an ignorant person that is given a lot of hype and a lot of money.
That is combustible to
be
sure.
Combustible, bro.
Yeah, and there were signs with Wander that things were going poorly.
As opposed to Wander, and now I can segue to a guy that I think is going to be massively important to the Rays, along with Junior, along with Yandy, you know, along with Cedric Mullins, is Jonathan Aranda. I think that guy, I think, is the equalizer possibly in that lineup that we just, we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And why? Because he's an incredibly talented hitter, but also the story for him is phenomenal. So this is a guy, I don't think people realize this. This is his 11th season wearing a Rays hat.
11th.
He got brought in at 17 years old from Mexico.
Tijuana.
Did not get brought in, by the way. So what they have is a development league over there. So at 17 years old, he gets signed by the Rays, just the same thing like they do in Dominican Republic, where they'll sign a kid at 16 or 17. They'll keep him in the country there, and they develop him with their development leagues there. And he went on, crushed there, did that for, I think, 1 or 2 seasons, if I'm not mistaken, at 17, 18. Let me look up real quick so I can be correct. But yeah, so he signed in 2015 at 17 years old, and he played for the Yaquis de Obregón, which is kind of like an affiliate that they represent. Then finally, by 16 is when he got assigned to the which has been disbanded now, but the Rays DSL team down in Port Charlotte. Then he finally started the real trek in 17 with the Princeton Rays, going up the ranks. As far as up the ranks, everywhere that kid has been, he's crushed. Yeah. I'm not saying just hit. He's crushed. In fact, 1 year with Durham, he was at Durham for 3 years, right?
Yeah, the 2023 season you're talking about.
He had 1,060 OPS.
Yeah.
He had 339, had 25 and 81 RBIs. Just crushed
in 95 games.
In 95 games.
That's ridiculous.
Just ridiculous. So the Rays have known that this guy has that potential to be, dare I say, a true all-star. And the interesting thing is his favorite number was number 8, right? And so when he got called up to the big leagues, who wore number 8? Brandon Lau. And so there was no taking number 8 from the perennial star of the Rays, along with Yandy Diaz and Kevin Kiermaier when Jonathan really first, got called up and sent down, which he did several times for 2 or 3 years and never really, they had him at third, they used him in the outfield, they used him first, wherever, but he never got, solid game action. So he took number 62. The moment that they traded Brandon, he called him. He says, "I'm going to take your number 8." In fact, Brandon joked and said, "Man, that thing hasn't even, it hasn't even been a minute." Yeah, it's just like, hasn't even given a chance. But Brandon had some great quotes and said that, none better, how hard Jonathan works, how deserving that, the guy is to finally be entrenched as a star player in the major league level. So he'll be wearing proudly number 8. In fact, Brandon Lau was quoted as saying that he goes, 15 years from now, I hope that people think of number 8 with a Rays and think of both Brandon and myself. And
well, let's hope that this number 8 gets a lot more wear. And is it on the injured list?
You're right. And were it not for him missing 2 months last year, we would have been talking about a true super year, because he ended up hitting 316 with
316 with a 882 OPS, 59 RBIs, 14 home runs,
right,
in 370 at bats.
Only 370 in 106
Yeah,
games.
so typically you get 600.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying double those numbers,
but that's where the replacement. The irony is that the number 8,
that's 3,100. Basically,
that's who you're replacing, and that's why this guy needs to be, whether he hits 3rd ahead of Caminero or he hits 5th behind Caminero or sometimes 4th.
I think he's got to be behind him.
I think they're going to go with
Cedric Mullins is not going to protect Caminero.
I'm okay with Cedric Mullins because he's an established power bat who had a really bad second half, but if he shows his wares, that's a dangerous hitter. So regardless of where you put him, and maybe you want to protect Aranda a little bit and let him get some good pitches because you're scared of Caminero.
He's so much better.
He's an all-around hitter.
Great eye.
No, he's got a great eye. Yeah. This guy can be truly, truly special.
I go Simpson, Yandy, Caminero, Aranda, Mullins.
Yeah.
I think that's your go-to.
And Fraley. The reason you break that up is because then you'd be going lefty, lefty, lefty. And that's why you want to break that up.
True.
That's why. Because
Yeah.
you want to. So you got to break up those three lefties with Mullins, Aranda, and Fraley, which are thumpers. You got to break that up somehow.
That's true.
Because you just in the middle of the game or in the 6th or 7th inning, you get by Caminero, the manager's going to be coming out and bringing out a lefty to pitch to all three of those guys.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? So you're
stacked.
You're too stacked. So you got to.
So it's Aranda, Caminero.
Caminero's the equalizer of that in another way by being a right-handed guy that's threatening. So I just think that Jonathan Aranda, I think he's coming up on being only 28 years old in May. Only 28, because remember, this kid, it's his 11th year with the team, but he signed at 17. So he's got all the makings to really breaking out and being a superstar. Not just a star, a superstar in the major leagues. He's shown it. He's way beyond minor league hitting. He's just crushed it. Now he just needs that 500-600, at bat season. Last year, and that's a dangerous injury to have. And that is a broken wrist from a pitch. He was out for a couple months. The good thing is that he recovered from that early enough to finish out the season. Not only finish out the season, but he ended up going 4 for 12 the last week and a half of the season.
The last 7 games, he hit 370
with 2 home runs.
3 home runs, 8 RBIs.
3 home runs. So what that did was you go into the offseason not worried about your wrist.
Right.
You're like, I'm good. I'm fully back. And then he can go train. He's going to be representing, obviously, his beloved, Team Mexico in the WBC.
That'll be great experience for him playing with the elite players.
I think that, I think this is something really an important factor for the new number 8 on the Tampa Bay Rays.
Mike H says, I love the junior speaking English in interviews. Even if it's hard to understand sometimes, he will get better at it.
100%.
Yeah.
And listen, I lived it in Japan, and by my second, third, I was there for 5 seasons. I wanted to, and I struggled through my interviews. By the time I got to like my 5th year, I can hold an interview. But even my answers, even to this day, I can only go so far and so limited. I'm not, 100% conversational, but they always, for the 40 years that I've been connected to Japan, have appreciated my working on learning it. Because you know what happens? If you take on a language, you really understand then the culture better. Yeah. By learning a language, you understand the culture.
Yes.
Because if you hide behind, I don't know, say, that type of thing, you're not really assimilating to the culture.
Right.
And learning what they're saying and why certain country. Now, I'm not just talking, USA centric. I'm talking any country.
To be a citizen, you used to have to learn a language.
Yeah, but listen, it's not easy for everybody. Like I said, it goes back to it goes back to the education part. Because if you weren't a good student, it's hard to learn it.
Mike says Walls with tightness is a concern after his injury late last year.
Yeah.
Well, he knows he's got to be healthy to play because he's got guys nipping at his heels.
A ton, not just Carson Williams, but you got Ben Williamson, who's a utility guy. You got Richie Palacios that wants to wiggle his way in there and get innings in and get games in. So Velotti can play second. Velotti can play third. He could play right. He could play left.
Damn.
And he's a right-handed popper. So
Mike H says, I think the Rays will be a scrappy team as usual and be a thorn in the side of some bigger payroll teams.
I think there'll be a thorn in the side of any team.
Yeah.
Not just a payroll team, but I know what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
The more that I'm starting to assimilate this roster, and again, health is wealth, the more that I'm starting to think, watch out for the Rays this season. They could be very, very sneaky. It's gonna look, listen, if they're healthy, they're gonna pitch their ass off. If they're healthy, they're gonna play great defense. And then the problem is gonna be, can you tack on 0.75 runs a game from last year? Can you creep up into
better base running?
Yeah, better base running, more timely hitting, and just overall thumping.
Yeah.
You know, can you find guys that are going to give you that 2 and 3 run homer every now and then that we just did not have, you know, other than seriously Yandy and Caminero, and then when Aranda was in the lineup regularly. And I'm not forgetting about Brandon Lowe. He had a really, really good year and was healthy for most of it. So you have to replace that. But that's the key. If you can score upwards of an extra run a game, watch out for the Rays.
Yeah, for his pitching and defense. Will Griffin Jacks be the closer, or will the Rays go by committees? Asks Michael LaRue.
I think he's the I think he's the proposed closer, but they're, you know, as we know very well from the Rays for the last decade plus, they're not afraid to mix and match that situation. Not to, in fact, to the point that you have a 7th inning where it's a tight game, talking about how I think they're going to be playing a lot of tight games, and you have the big 3, 4, 5 coming up. 2,
That's
3,
your
4.
closing situation.
That's your closing situation. Griffin, let's say he's rested and he hasn't thrown in a couple of days. I'm throwing him there,
right there. Yeah,
and not just that. It's that you have the wherewithal to close out the 8th and the 9th, because you have a Clevenger and you have, you know, an Uceta. So it not necessarily mean that is the perennial 9th inning guy, but predominantly I think he will
could be the guy.
Yeah.
All right, partner, another good one.
Yeah,
great
buddy.
job. The season is here, and we're going to be here each and every Tuesday and Friday to bring you great Rays coverage, maybe more as the season gets started. We'll see where it goes. Make sure you like and subscribe, and please share the show as well. If you're a Rays fan, you probably got some other friends that are Rays fans. Say, hey, you listening to the O Show. You got to listen to this best Rays podcast out there, because it absolutely is. You're not going to find the depth of knowledge, experience, having played in the league, been a broadcaster, ESPN, Rays broadcaster. Nobody even comes close. He's the best in the business talking baseball here locally. And you got him twice a week for the best Rays podcast. So tell your friends, share the show on your socials. We really appreciate it. Any parting words, my friend?
No, man. Looking forward to continuing on and staying healthy. And we'll be out there probably next week at a couple of the games. So we'll be reporting front and center. And this is the time to always stay tranquil and tropical.
East Park.